welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is Yorkshire Gold, which is a nice British breakfast blend. And we're only going to be looking at one game today. That's right. My husband and I are weekend board gamers. We're just casual board gamers. So, don't expect anything too elaborate from this channel, though we might get into something like that sometime. But holiday season is here, and we only managed to play one game this weekend because we were busy doing other stuff, Christmassy stuff around the house. And the one game we played has Santa in it. Oh my gosh, Santa is coming. I know him. Have you ever thought about where Santa lives during the off-season? Well, or maybe just where Santa lives? You would think it would be the North Pole, wouldn't you? But apparently, Santa is a permanent resident of Burano, Italy. That's an island around Venice. And one of the things that's unique about this place is that the houses are all painted different colors here. Popular tourist location, and the houses all have to be painted different colors, and that is the basis for the game Walking in Burano. Now, scoring for this game is based upon the people that are walking around in Burano in this game. We have inhabitants and visitors, tourists, inhabitants and tourists, residents and visitors. Now, the odd thing is, in the base game, now the base game that I got just came with the little mini expansion that has 3 extra residents that you can swap in. But the base game, Santa is listed as an inhabitant of Burano, Italy. And this is his scoring. Not surprisingly, he scores for chimneys. But, I thought that was odd. You know, we opened up the game and we looked at the tourist and we looked at the residents, the inhabitants, and they all score a little bit differently. But Santa was stacked among the inhabitants of Burano, not among the visitors, which are also called tourists. And I suppose having Santa as a tourist just struck them as odd, so they put him as a resident, an inhabitant, which is also kind of odd. But especially since we have a mini expansion that came with it, and I think it's available, or at one time it was available. I'm not sure right now if it was available from Board Game Geek Store as well. If it is, I'll put a link in the description. But I'm picking these up and I've got an insert for them. There are a mini expansion that gives you 3 more, not tourists, but inhabitants, which I'm thinking. And it's boxed with the regular game, at least the one that I got. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't Santa be in the mini expansion? You know, so that seasonally you could rotate Santa in. Now, there are 4 tourists that visit the houses in Burano. We have houses and we have tourists that visit them. And we have inhabitants, and they all score differently. There are slightly different rules for inhabitants and tourists. There are 2 of each of the inhabitant cards, and you always play with those. But for the tourist, you have a total of 3 tourist cards, but depending upon your player count, you may not use all of them. You may not lay out all of them in the setup. This plays from 1 to 4. I have not tried the solo game yet, but it plays pretty well at 2. They allow for card cycling of the houses to go a bit faster with 2. With the, here's what the layout of the, game looks like. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a house so that you're trying to build 5 houses, actually. And once one person gets 5 houses, then the game ends. So you're trying to build 5 houses, and you need to make the top, middle, and bottom match. You can't just say take a rooftop from column B and take a pizza shop from the first column, you know, like, and you also can't just pick up one of those middle rows. When you take cards, you can take as many as 3 cards, but you have to take them in a column. So you could take the top in the middle, and you could take the bottom in the middle, or you could take the top, the middle, and the bottom. But you can't just take the middle. You could just take a rooftop. You could just take a shop on the ground floor, but you can't just take the middle card. And you're trying to come up with houses that you lay out in front of you side by side, and each one is a different color, and they are the same color top to bottom. Now, those rules are slightly bendable. Everybody gets 4 planning tokens here, and in the player's colors. And you can mix match, like put houses that are the same color next to each other if you spend planning tokens to do it. You can put houses that have top and middle and bottom that are not the different color, but every time you like mess up the color going top to bottom, again, you have to get a special planning permission. And these all have 3 points written on them. That's how many points you get for the ones of these that you don't use. So basically, you can do that, but you really don't want to, because that's 12 points at the end of the game, and 3 points less every time you break one of those rules. You also start off with 4 coins. There are cardboard coins, but they're, I don't know, kind of thick and cushy feeling, and they've got like a shiny, I don't know if you can see it in the camera here, but they've got kind of a shiny metallic finish to them, which is kind of nice. And you have an adorable first player token. Oh, and the first player token is on scaffolding. Let's say you've got some cards that you need to put down to get out of your hand, but you don't have a full 3 to be able to just lay down a house. You can put down, the scaffolding cards are double-sided. You can put down, like if you've got a top and a middle card, you can put down this side of the scaffolding to form a base for it, and then you can put down the 3rd card on another turn. Or let's say you're just missing a middle card, you've got a top and a bottom, so you put down your foundation card, like whatever the bottom card is, like this. And then you put the scaffolding here for the middle. In order to support, I don't have a green roof there. I was going to say roof, but I just showed you a green card. Here we go. What you're looking for is this, a green roof. So it would be like this. So that's how scaffolding cards work. And the game is really as simple as it sounds doing that. You can pick up and you get coins. Here's how you get coins. If you pick up all 3 in a column, you don't get any coins that turn. If you pick up 2, you get 1 coin. If you pick up 1, you get 2 coins. So that's how you get coins. And then you spend the coins when you build. So you need to have 5 coins to lay out all 3. And I think it's like 1, 2 coins for, oh, well, I'll look it up. You can look it up. Get the game. It's a lot of fun. This game makes a lot of people's lists for relaxing games. It's kind of a small box, so it could be a travel game, but it's also making people's list for games that inspire travel. Italy, go places. But it's a really fun game. You go around the table, everybody picks up whatever they can or whatever they want to. They lay down cards and pay for them. They get their money for whatever they do or do not pick up. They lay down cards and pick them up and lay them down if they can, pay for that, and go to the next player when everybody has done their round. Then the cards are refilled. In a 2-player game, you're going to remove all of the rightmost cards and then slide anything left down and then fill in. In a game with more than 2 players, you won't do that initial. You'll just remove all of you'll just fill in, move everything all the way to the right and then fill in behind it without removing anything extra. You just slide everything down and then fill in behind it. Slide everything away from the decks and then fill in from the deck line there. It's a fun game. It's very relaxing. It's harder than it looks. And you score for things like, well, Santa, as I pointed out, he scores for chimneys. But other people score for other things. Like, for instance, I'll put an insert up here that shows you the scoring cards for the various people. The mayor, for instance, he scores for all the people that are walking around on those ground floor cards. The policeman scores for how many street lights that you have on the house cards. The seamstress scores for pairs of red and blue awnings. Plant guy, and there is more than one plant guy. Plant guy who is an inhabitant, he scores for the plants that are in any 3 adjacent horizontal. And plant girl, who is an inhabitant, she scores for any 3 flowers that are 3 in a row horizontally. Oh yeah, the shopkeeper, he scores for each one of the ground floor shops that are not alike. And you have the tourist, and the tourist score in columns. When you complete your house, you take an inhabitant or a tourist card. And what you want to do if you take a tourist card is you want to take a tourist card that is going to score you for the house that you just laid down, because tourists score in columns. Like this girl here, if you can get a cat or multiple cats on the roof, on the middle floor, and on the ground floor, you'll make out pretty well with this tourist. Plant girl here, see? That little arrow there, that shows you that you're going in columns. So this will be scoring, counting up the plants, the flowers. Sorry, plant guy who is a tourist, you're scoring for the greenery, and it is on that column. And he will score you for all kinds of stuff. So you can do those tourists, or you can do the inhabitants that I showed you before, like the seamstress, or Santa, who weirdly enough lives in Burano, Italy. You thought it was the North Pole, but really, he is in Italy. And he is looking for some chimneys. But that's pretty much how the game goes, which makes gameplay very easy to learn, very simple to play, but really kind of tricky because it is sort of a race, because the game ends when the first person to get 5 completed houses. Scaffolding doesn't count. 5 completed houses, and of course, when you complete one, you get a tourist or an inhabitant. There are 7 inhabitants and 4 tourists in the base game. You add 3 more potential inhabitants in the mini expansion, but you never have more than 7. So if you use the mini expansion, what you're doing is you are swapping some or all of those inhabitants for ones that came in the base game. And what we usually do, like I said, we just swap Santa out for the rest of the year and use one of the ones in the mini expansion. But it is Christmas time, so we are playing with Santa. It's a fun game. It's relaxing. It's pretty. And you can score for all kinds of things like streetlights and cats and plants and shops and visitors to the shops. But you got to make the colors match, and you got to try to figure out you're going like, and other people are going for those cards too. So, yeah, I lost the last game badly because my husband just snatched those cards that I was going to use when I laid that house down. I was going to score a ton on flowers, and he sucked both of them up, both of those flower cards, before I could lay that house down. So aggravating. And yet it is a very relaxing game. I'm just kidding. Actually, it is a lot of fun, and it's kind of relaxing. I just like stacking up those little houses and watching all the kitty cats leap around. Kitty cats. Leaping. Sometimes they're leaping from chimneys, like here. And, of course, the little kitty cat first player marker. Isn't that adorable? So there is kind of a pretty and adorable factor there, particularly if you like cats. And it's got plants and stuff, and that is pretty much all there is to it. But I still think that it's really weird that Santa is listed as an inhabitant. He has an inhabitant card, not a visitor card. And that he is part of the base game, not part of the mini expansion. The base game otherwise looks like a really bright, sunny summer game, except for the fact that when you crack open the box, you see Santa looking back up at you there, and you're kind of going like, whoa, Christmas in July or what? But that's the only game we played this weekend. We had a lot of fun playing it. And this video is much shorter than usual because it's the holiday season. And it's like we're doing other stuff, but we are playing games. And there aren't too many Christmas games, unfortunately. We've only got a couple more selections here for Christmas, swapping and Christmas themey kind of stuff. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Do look for Walking in Burano. Walking in Burano, it can be played year-round. It is not a Christmas game per se. But if you get it with the mini expansion inside, or you pick up the little mini expansion, then you can swap somebody in for Santa for the rest of the year, and then just kind of bring Santa out and have him looking for chimneys when December rolls around. I hope you are all having a really good holiday season. And as always, it was nice talking to you. And I will see you next time round the table. Bye.